After the Hunt is in theaters this weekend. This was directed by Luca Guadagnino, who directed Call Me By Your Name and last year's Challengers and Queer. Those two films I loved. This movie, not so much. After the Hunt stars Julia Roberts, Andrew Garfield, Ayo Edebiri, Chloe Sevigny, and Michael Stuhlbarg. Their performances are outstanding. Great performances, but their performances, it just wasn't enough to save this film. There are so many issues with the film. Believe it or not, one of the biggest issues is the score. It was scored by Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor, who Luca uses, I think, almost all the time. This is their worst score. This score was terrible. It does not pair well with the scenes whatsoever. And the editing, I cannot believe how sloppy the editing in this film is. And some of the angles taken were, I was scratching my head. This comes off as a student film too, because the theme that is explored in the film is not definitive at all. It is purposely ambiguous, and the audience, the viewer, is left to come to terms with whatever just happened. There is nothing definitive about what's explored here. All right, let me back up some. So Ayo Edebiri is a PhD candidate at Yale University. All of this takes place at Yale. And she has a close relationship with one of her professors, played by Julia Roberts. She is a professor of philosophy. And Andrew Garfield is also a professor at Yale. And so Ayo accuses him of assaulting her. We don't see the assault, which is a choice, and I think that's a good choice. We don't see the assault. Ayo comes in confidence to Julia Roberts to confide in her about what happens. And Ayo knows that something similar happened to Julia Roberts' character. And so she leans in on her trust, hoping that she'll have an ally so that she can pursue this claim against Andrew. Now, Andrew's character. Andrew and Julia they're colleagues, but they also have an intimate relationship too, even though Julia Roberts' character is married to Michael Stuhlbarg's character. And so the film does not tell you whether or not this actually happened. The audience is left to its own biases to feel whatever you want to feel and believe whatever you want to believe. And that's fine to a point. But what's problematic is that it's way too ambiguous. Even at the end makes it worse, because although Julia Roberts' character has suffered something similar, she, in her big age, can't come to terms with the fact that she was a victim too. And she's blaming herself. So there is no full circle moment. The journey of the protagonist, like there's no growth. I'll say that. There is no growth. And that's fine too, to a point. It's fine that your protagonist doesn't have any growth. That's fine. It doesn't always have to be formulaic in that way. But we're left to come to terms with whatever happened in the film, which made me think, well, what's the purpose of it at all? And to top that off, the film, it has this haughtiness, this air about it, because the dialogue is so verbose, it's so circumlocutory that it doesn't want to acknowledge the audience at all. It's like they're having this private conversation, this conversation amongst Ivy Leaguers and Mensa candidates and Rhodes Scholars. They don't want to include us, but depend on the audience to come to terms with whatever's happening. And I found that very airy and haughty and condescending in a way. The characters, they're in their own bubble because we're basically talking about Ivy Leaguers. They're at Yale. That is the setting. However, it's so standoffish, the dialogue, and everyone sounds the same. Even though everyone has a different walk of life, they all sound the same. This sounds like the screenwriter. The screenwriter is Nora Garrett, who attended NYU, but it's written as if the audience isn't considered whatsoever. Like, this is a contained conversation. This is an insider's conversation. That's how it's written. Like, this will never see the light of day. That's how it was written. That's how it comes off, with this air about it, this haughtiness about it that just doesn't resonate with general audiences. It just doesn't. I don't think it's a great film. It comes off as a student film, and Luca Guadagnino is too long in his career to be producing this product. This is the outcome. This doesn't look like someone who did Challengers and Queer last year, or even Call Me by Your Name. It does not. At any rate, listen, you can see for yourself, because After the Hunt is in wide release in theaters this weekend. If you're going to see it on the biggest screen you can find.